Hi, welcome to Life Between Sundays, and my name is Mark. And today is going to be a slightly different kind of episode. This is Life Between Sundays, practical faith, honest reflection, and wisdom for the road ahead. I want to take you back a bit to the backstory of how I got to be where I am. You know, over the last few weeks, this channel has grown faster than I expected, and honestly, I'm deeply grateful. I mean, your comments, your messages, your stories, they've really encouraged me, and they made me realize more and more how I want to carry on doing this YouTube channel. A few years ago, I transitioned out of full-time church leadership, and after 40 years of preaching, teaching, leading, walking with people, I felt the time had changed. There was a new season approaching, and it was time for Christina and I to move on. Part of that change was that Christina and I decided to move to Jeffreys Bay. It was an adventure that was inspired by our daughter who was living in Cape Town and two of our other daughters living overseas. And we were just ready for a new adventure, a new beginning. Now, just before we actually left, I started this little non-profit company called the Generative Way. And the purpose of the Generative Way was very simple. It's to help people grow spiritually, emotionally, relationally, and to share wisdom that leads to a whole different meaning of life. And here's the thing. I still felt that deep desire to keep encouraging people, to teaching the Word of God, to sharing the practical side of faith, to share the adventure that you can have at this stage of life, and to take on new challenges when perhaps the temptation is to slow down and have this kind of extended holiday, which what they think retirement is. And not for this to happen in a big church building, in a formal Sunday service, but in the way that fits in our life today. So why YouTube? So I turned to YouTube because I've always had a love for YouTube. So in 2019, I started this channel. My name's Mark van Straten. I'm from Durban in South Africa, and I know very little about vlogging. I really didn't know if it would work. I experimented with a whole bunch of things. In fact, you can check this link above here on how to de-wax a surfboard. You know what? It never really got traction. I didn't know if anyone my age or our age, your age, would even be here. And going into retirement, I could feel that this could be an extension of my so-called next. You know, they always talk about a next when you retire. And after the experience of 40 years of ministry, there needed to be a next for me. So since then, I've watched hours of YouTube. I've watched hours of tutorials to learn how to edit. I've learned something about graphic design, and on. I've kind of tried to learn. And that in itself has been, I think, ideal for me in this new space, in this new stage of life. So I thought maybe this space could be a place where I could build a small, thoughtful, encouraging, and an adventurous community. A place for people who want their faith to be part of everyday life, not just Sundays, not just services, not always listen to this directly about Jesus in the Bible, but through our daily adventures, stresses, and all that life has as we enter this exchange of life. Now, naturally for me, Christianity is the substructure upon which I build everything, so it's going to come through in some way, shape, or form. YouTube lets us meet in your lounge, like I'm in my lounge today, on your phone during lunch, and even on your TV in the evenings. And to my surprise, it's begun to resonate with quite a lot of people, which really excites me. So how does this connect to the Generative Way? Well, when I realized that this channel, Life Between Sundays, it can become a very extension of the real work that Christine and I sought to do through the Generative Way. Initially, I believed the Generative Way was going to take a more formal structure of mentoring and coaching, seminars, public speakings. And in the first year, that kind of happened. I wrote a couple of books, I developed some courses. But as time went by, these opportunities began to diminish, and I think especially moving into a new town. So that's when I realized that the same objectives that I had desire for the Generative Way could be met through YouTube. And these weekly conversations, sometimes teachings, reflections, sharing our adventure, our building, our new house, will fit perfectly into the purpose of the Generative Way. So in many ways, YouTube has become our community, and I'm inviting you to become part of our lives and ministry. And I'm deeply thankful for that. Now, it's quite interesting that the analytics here at YouTube are incredibly precise. And I'd like to share some of these analytics with you because it really is quite interesting. When I looked at the analytics, 80% of the people who watched my YouTube channel are over the age of 45 years old, 45 and above, vast majority from 55 to where I am. 73% of the people watching my channel are men. You've got to invite your wives to this deal. I think it's as relevant to them as it is to me. And that's really quite unique for YouTube, because it's a platform that traditionally younger people have watched, but I'm finding more and more people are watching it. Because here's another really interesting stat. 48% are watching this channel on your TV. And that's really great. The only thing, of course, is it's difficult to subscribe and to like the video, but that's neither here nor there. 34% of people are watching on their phones. And here's a statistics that anybody who's watched YouTube for long enough, you'll know about. 89% of the people watching are not subscribed to this channel. So here's my hope moving forward. We want to keep creating space here for Christine and I to share our story of these crazy days that we're living in the season of our lives, to be honest, to have honest conversations. We want to find hope and growth and spiritual nourishment, and perhaps even some wisdom that carries us into what can be our best years ahead. And I'm going to do a whole video on that one. Anyway, I'm going to attempt to keep this channel real, personal, engaging, and to be part of each other's journey. I want to thank you for those of you who want to be part of this community, for watching, for commenting, for sharing, and for being part of something hopefully that is going to be meaningful to many of us. So if today's video resonates with you, I'd love you to stay connected, to leave a comment, ask questions. If you dare, ask my opinion on refs and rugby and all sport really. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please go ahead and share it to someone that may find this useful, and to simply come showing up each week. This is just the beginning, and it's a privilege to have you with me. Thanks for being here. I'll see you soon. God bless you.